Initially, I heard about DeviantArt through a group of friends who recommended the website to me. They said it was a great place to see other people's work and to put your own work up and get it out there. I set up an account 2 years ago now, give or take, and at the end of secondary school, and then all the way through college, and I found out that actually any age group can actually be a part of the website, so it really doesn't matter what background you're from or what age you are, what style you have. Just anybody can just join up. I think it's impacted my work quite a bit. Through the course of time that I've actually been on the website, I've managed to take a look at so many different types of artists and different styles that have influenced me indirectly or just directly. It just inspired me to make new work and just further, the process that I've been doing. The site is extremely user friendly. It's so easy to get around, and anybody could just go on. You don't even have to know about the website. Just click on it, and you can just navigate your way around, no problem whatsoever. Compared to Facebook, DeviantArt would be it wouldn't be too suited as a means of putting up your artwork. With Facebook, only your friends would be notified if you were to update your account or do anything with it. Whereas DeviantArt would allow anybody and everybody to see what you've done and your new artwork. Facebook would be more for communicating and getting to meet old friends and things like that. DeviantArt would be mainly for artists and for that whole genre. It'd be quite different. Yeah, Facebook wouldn't be good at all for getting critique for your artwork because, or even getting just people to give you a good opinion on your art, because if they're your friends, they would automatically praise you for it. On DeviantArt, you're surrounded by other artists who really know what they're talking about, so they wouldn't hesitate to tell you where you went wrong or how you can improve on your art. Especially when you have the anonymity.
I come into contact with DeviantArt in a different way. Yes, I do, but it's a different kind of work than I think the people that you've been asking use or refer to. Because I'm a lecturer in the School of Creative Arts, so I come into contact with DeviantArt through my students when I assign them, say, essays on image analysis. A lot of them will come in with images, and I let them choose their own images. A lot of them will come in with images from DeviantArt, or I ask them to put posts on a blog that I have for the class, and a lot of them will nick stuff off DeviantArt and put them up. So that's how I come into DeviantArt, and that's how I come into contact with it, and that's how it gets used in my classroom. I would encourage them. I don't tend to encourage them or discourage them, actually. I like to find out what it is that they're looking at. And then I start from there in terms of how I discuss imagery with them and how I lead them into looking at different kinds of imagery. What I do encourage them to do when they're looking at DeviantArt is to be critical about, not critical in the sense of, oh, that's great or oh, that's terrible, but to be critical about in the critical thinking sense about how these images are coming to be where they are, who possibly made them, for what possible purposes, and to be a little bit more discerning in how they choose images to look at. Yeah, I have trouble because I am assigning these. I allow them to choose images to write about, and one of the things I want them to do is to look at who made an image, why the image was made, what the motivations behind it were, what audience it's for, to be looking at those kinds of questions so that they can do a critical analysis of the image, which is very difficult to do if the image is anonymous, right? So you don't know if it was made by a professional artist. And I know professional artists do post their work there, or some teenager in a basement in Milwaukee in his underwear is just putting up drawings of bears kissing pandas. Like, it's like I like to know a little bit more about the purpose of the images and why it's being made. Misuse is difficult.
Mm.
Not from what I've seen, no. Misuse. I mean, I suppose if people were putting up images for commercial purposes or sort of somehow betraying the community ethos that the site has, that would be difficult. But I haven't particularly noticed anything in terms of abuse, and I haven't noticed any sort of abusive posts. People tend to be pretty supportive of one another, which I think is, that's great. Yeah, I think it's a way of connecting with other people who are interested in the same things that you're interested in, which I think is sometimes difficult to find. I see a lot of times when we get students into our programs, say from animation or visual communications or model making, one of the great advantages to them being here is that they're all sort of the odd man out in their schools, and now we're all sort of geeks together, because I used to be the same, and I think that's if you're living in a remote area, or you're living in a situation where you don't have a lot of access to people who think the way that you think, I think it's a good place to be able to make those kinds of connections across time and space. So I think that's a really great advantage, and it's also a way of getting feedback on what you've done from people who are interested in what you're interested in.